The food waste opportunity. The global movement to cut food waste has the potential to bring tangible and significant economic benefits. By Deborah Tarrant. All figures in this article are in Australian dollars. This article has been edited for audio purposes. Article begins. More than 1/3 of the world's food is lost or wasted annually at an estimated cost of $4 billion, according to the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, FAO. This staggering figure includes $1 trillion in related environmental costs and $1.4 trillion in social costs. Research from Boston Consulting Group indicates that, by value, food waste ranks in the top 7% of global economies in terms of GDP. Countries that collectively represent more than 50% of the world's population are now striving to halve food waste by 2030. This effort aligns with Sustainable Development Goal 12.3 from the United Nations. The goal targets post-harvest food losses in production and supply chains and food waste reduction at the retail and consumer levels. To help stem the tide of food waste, the entire food value chain must work together from farmer to consumer. McKinsey research suggests that, by successfully tackling the food waste problem, retailers and manufacturers could reduce the cost of goods they sell by 3% to 10%. This would capture $123 billion in new market potential from food that would otherwise be lost. Tracking global progress towards 2030 remains tricky because countries have different levels of maturity in data collection and use varying measurement criteria. However, positive indicators have been emerging in the form of reconfigured supply chains, smarter production methods, and regulatory levers. Other improvements have stemmed from rethinking labeling, accelerating food rescue endeavors, and behavioral nudges to encourage consumers to eat their leftovers instead of throwing them away. Professor William Chen, Food Science and Technology Director at Singapore's Nanyang Technological University, says, "A systems approach is definitely needed to fix the problems of food supply and reduce its waste." A recognized global leader in the field, Chen works as an advisor to the World Health Organization. He also consults to the FAO and the Asian Development Bank on topics such as food security and safety to urban farming, precision fermentation, and alternative foods. Food security risks are always in Chen's sights due to Singapore's unique status as an island state where agricultural land now represents just 1%, or 7 square kilometres, of all land. The majority of the food consumed by Singapore's 5.6 million residents is imported from 170 countries. Keen to extract maximum value from the existing food system, Chen chose food waste valuing as one of the university's research pursuits in 2015. He subsequently established an innovation lab with Asian beverage giant Fraser and Neave. Beyond looking at food waste as fertilizer or compost, I wanted to add value and upcycle it to benefit the economy, Chen recalls. In the process, Chen and his colleagues turned a modest $170,000 in initial research funding into $62 million. They accomplished this by engaging food industry enterprises and government into public-private partnerships to show how food waste can be transformed into new products. For example, the team turned the cellulose in durian husks into adhesive bandages. They also showed how 39 million tonnes a year of barley straw could potentially be used to replace egg yolk in mayonnaise. Other notable transformation measures have included using herb stems for hand sanitizer and miso and soy milk for biodegradable food wrap. Using food waste as a resource is the way of the future, Chen says. If we can collectively reduce food waste to zero by being smarter, there will be no need to use more land or grow more crops. Australians have the dubious honour of being among the worst food wasters in the world. About 7.6 million tonnes of food are thrown away every year in Australia, with 70% of it still fit for consumption. This equates to about 312 kilos of food per person. According to the National Food Waste Strategy Feasibility Study from 2021, this cost the economy $36.6 billion a year. It is ironic that a country that produces enough food for 75 million people, with a population of just 25 million, counts 5 million residents as food insecure, says Dr. Stephen Lappage. Lappage heads Fight Food Waste, a company that runs several of the nation's major food waste initiatives, including the Adelaide-headquartered Fight Food Waste Cooperative Research Centre, CRC. The CRC, which was launched in 2018, partners with business to fund food waste reduction research and now works with 49 industry partners and 8 universities. The CRC's operational arm, Stop Food Waste Australia, is backed by a consortium of partners that represent the entire food supply chain and all levels of government. One of the centre's key projects is the Australian Food Pact, which asks food manufacturers to make a voluntary commitment to reduce waste. For Australia, Lappage says, there are some specific challenges to be tackled. These include disease, horticultural waste caused by extreme weather events, and supermarket specifications for right-size, unblemished produce. The purpose of the FLW standard is to provide organisations and governments across the globe with greater information about food loss and waste to motivate them to cut back on the inefficiency. The FLW standard can be used by accountants to gain insight on how much food is not being used as intended, and it provides a clear way to track food loss and waste. This information can be used to dig deeper into the causes of food loss and waste, identify hotspots, and prioritise these areas for targeted action. It is often cheaper for companies to throw away surplus food than to donate it to a food rescue service, Lappage says. We're trying to create a platform to incentivise not only food donation, but also the infrastructure essential to redistribution, including transport and logistics and cold storage facilities, Lappage says. Such infrastructure costs money to a business, none of which can currently be claimed. In the US, the UK, France, Canada, and Belgium, food rescue services are benefiting from dramatically increased donations due to tax incentives. In Australia, tax benefits already flow to food businesses that invest in finding solutions through the Research and Development Tax Incentive. Another barrier to large-scale waste solutions is the need to aggregate surplus food, Lappage says. This is because in most areas, retailers are banned from backhauling food to a distribution centre for repurposing or upcycling. There is also widespread confusion about food labels, especially use by and best before dates, he adds. Some countries, like the UK, are moving away from best before dates on food packaging because they are indicators of stock rotation, not a deadline for disposal. The use by dates are the ones you need to worry about, but 75% of the population don't know the difference. People need to rely on the look, feel, and smell of what they're buying, Lappage says. Individual behavioural change is critical in helping reach food waste reduction targets, says Ronnie Khan, the founder of the Australian food rescue charity OzHarvest. We are all about transforming the system through advocating and policy change, says Khan, who campaigned for the Civil Liability Amendment Food Donation Act. The act, which passed in 2005, allows businesses to donate food without liability. Khan says she has seen significant growth in public awareness in the 2 decades since she founded OzHarvest. We've moved the dial, but there's still the best part of 360 degrees to go. We need to educate people on the quality and the lost value of food, she says. Khan believes true understanding begins with individuals. This is because householders run both businesses and organisations, and households are responsible for 40% of waste in Australia. Solutions to reducing household food waste need not be complex or expensive. An example of a simple but effective measure is Use It Up tape, developed by OzHarvest with Monash University's Behaviour Works. The tape helps people reorganise fridge contents to prioritise what needs to be eaten first, and has been shown to help cut food waste by 40%. The Fight Food Waste Cooperative Research Centre is working on larger-scale commercial solutions. One of these solutions is called Direct, a cloud-based software that food businesses can use to crunch numbers across the value chain. The software factors in the cost of water used to grow and process food, the cost of transportation, and packaging waste. It provides a benchmark for reducing waste and costs, Lappage says. Lappage also encourages accountants working in the food industry all along the supply chain to familiarise themselves with the true cost of food waste. Opportunities for improvement abound on the production side as well. In Asia, where cultural holdings are typically small, Chen sees widespread opportunities to help farmers become more efficient through low-tech monitoring and value adding. Better quality food can be sold at higher prices, Chen explains. He adds, improving supply chain management would enhance transparency, food safety, and bring on consumer confidence, at the same time reducing food waste.